No, doesn't look too bad actually. Doesn't look too bad actually. Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, so we are alive. Okay? And obviously we made some improvements to the stream. We're back on the balcony. It's been a long day, so I had to leave the stream for the night, which I'm not a fan of doing. I don't like to do these on the balcony at night, but sometimes it's relaxing. Hey Shark, how are you? We are live and the stream's clear. You remember about the camera? Well, we figured it out. Stream is better looking. And so are we, baby. Let's go. It's gonna be a short one. Let's get the angle right. Cool. Now I know this makes our audio situation a little bit awful because I'm kind of talking directly to the phone. We're streaming for the phone. So that's just something that'll come with time. Maybe a lav mic, but you know, we're trying to do this as economically as efficient as we can. Because what's the point if you're trying to do this and you have to spend a bunch of money? Right? You have to spend a bunch of money. It's all about efficiency, right? And we want to spend as little money as possible. We're stingy, right? What? You like spending money? But that's the point of all of this, right? To start from if you throw a bunch of money at a problem, who's saying hi on my account? Is that not you? Oh, it must be one of the, oh no. Oh, we've got 2 viewers. Hello. We're talking about advertising, right? Now AI will radically change advertising. Okay? So the kids are watching. Hello, kids. Welcome. What's the time over there? Should you be in bed? Anyways, yeah, I think it's a combination of people, but how AI will radically change advertising. It's going to be a quick one because it's late and I didn't have time to plan a comprehensive stream, so we're going to skip the workshop for today. We're going to continue the workshop tomorrow, and 3 views to now 1. So we're just going to quickly, I think we're going to do a quick half hour, and hopefully tomorrow we'll do a longer one, get more into the workshop side of things. We're talking about advertising and how it will radically change because of AI, right? And obviously, you know, the general consensus is that AI just helps us do things faster, it helps us do things better, it helps us do things cheaper. But what does that say about a competitive marketplace? What does that say about a competitive marketplace, right? You want to do ads, but if everybody, like before, ads would be who has the best ideas, and that came with, you know, research, time and retention for the brain, things like that, getting an edge over the other person, right? Advertising is mostly research. So what happens when everybody has the same access to the same kind of think tank, which is, the data storage of AI, right? Now, that doesn't mean that, there's no more need to do research, but the process is going to be much faster, which means that every single hour of research is worth a lot more because you have accessibility to the same sort of construction software, right? It's like, how do you construct a sentence? How do you construct a script? Everyone has the same access to that. That's not really a skill that has much leverage now because of AI. Now, of course, AI isn't perfect, but the newer models that will come, they're going to be incredibly, lean and efficient at this stuff, and it's going to be even easier to do the things that are already quite easy, right? And that's what I've noticed with AI. It's not the best with writing. Like, I give it prompts and I try to see what I can do with it, but it kind of ruins it sometimes, right? I'll type a script, I'll type up something, I'll type up a paragraph, and I'll throw it into ChatGPT, and I'll say, make this better, da-da-da-da, do this with it, and it'll just completely change the whole point of the paragraph, or whatever I give it. And you do a bunch of iterations and it still doesn't do it, and you're like, screw it, just fix the grammar, and I'll do the rest, But what happens essentially when everyone has the same access to that kind of software? And, obviously the free version's quite good, and the paid versions are amazing. So, once again, it's pay to play. And, it's only like the top, 5-10% of companies that are going to be able to afford that consistently, to afford, we're talking about bleeding edge, so maybe, just a few companies in the world have that kind of access. But even like the higher end, you're going to be seeing very few companies, hazarding, I guess, 1 in 10, have the kind of access to go really, cutting edge with this stuff, like really land on the fringes. And then everybody else is just going to have like the higher end of the commercial stuff, right? And so that's who you're competing with, right? Like, this information doesn't work for Google. This information doesn't work for Amazon, Apple, right? They've already got it going on. Everybody trusts them as contenders in the market that cannot be messed with, right? If you're coming out with a phone product or an operating software, you're competing with, Microsoft and Apple, who've already had, their decades working on this, and they've kind of killed it. So, if let's talk about the people you're competing with now. If everybody has access to the same sort of technology, then essentially everybody's going to have the same level of work, right? And if you're putting in the maximum amount of research, right, and you're going to have to use AI because it's just too fast and too good not to use. So at some point in your process, no matter how good you are at writing and creating ads, at some point you're going to have to transition into using AI because everyone else will be, and they'll be doing the same level of work that you're doing in a fraction of the time. And it's just going to be a time game, right? I'm sure there's people out there that can do a much better job than ChatGPT, but just because you can do just as good a job or an even better job, if it takes you a few days to fully write something that presents a certain message, and ChatGPT can do it with a prompt, and even if you make it rewrite it a few hundred times, you can do that in an afternoon. You know, so the difference between a few days or even a week to create something of value, whereas an evening of work, even with ChatGPT constantly kind of meddling with it, right? So that's what you're up against, right? Eventually you'll have to start using it because it's just too fast. Eventually everyone will have to use it, otherwise they'll be too slow. And the companies that are at the bleeding edge, that have enough money to kind of be unaffected, they don't care. They have access anyway, and they're going to be doing better than you. So this is for anyone who's not like a AAA company, if you know what I mean. If you're into video games. But we don't play video games because it's just not fun anymore. Back to AI. When you think about advertising, it's about talking to a certain person, right? You have a product and you're trying to talk to a singular type of person who your product is perfect for, right? And if your product is perfect for them, they're more likely to listen. And let's say your competitor's in a market and everybody's using AI and everybody's ads kind of generally look and feel the same, right? Like, especially like static ads, right? Eventually you're going to have to be more creative to stand above the competition. If everybody, you know, every single new company that comes up is going to be hammering in AI content because it's just easy and cheap and it's really fast. So for a new business, it's, you know, it's kind of an easy choice. If you have software out there that can help you streamline your process to get your product ready and ship it to market, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. You're going to use it. And you should use it. This isn't like saying like to be a purist of business and work and whatnot. You want to use it. If it's useful, then there's no point ignoring it, right? If it's useful, then there's no point ignoring it. If it's useful, then there's no point ignoring it. Lost my spot for a second there. It's okay. It's quite hot out. It's quite hot out. Regardless, moving on. If you want to be competitive, then in that marketplace, right, you're gonna have to do something new. You're gonna have to do something that helps you stand above everyone else, above the competition. And that comes with what is essentially the folly of AI, is that it is an overconfident reasoning software. And you're not. And it's not like live streaming is easy. You know, finding the time every day to do this is quite taxing. Especially when, like, you can't just do this alone. It's one component of the whole puzzle. Because you have to kind of be able to funnel people into your lives. And that's what I'm working on right now, right? So we've kind of cut through the part where it's like, go live. And we're live. We're talking. We're yapping. It's all good, right? You don't need to worry about that part. It's done. We figured out how to do it. Nobody can question me about that. I figured out how to click live and be live and just talk and present a problem. We've done that. We've also presented a solution. but it's not enough. It's not enough. So now we have to talk about virality. And that's the next piece of the puzzle. Nothing else matters unless we can achieve virality. Nothing else matters in this unless we can achieve virality. So that is the basic function of every business. And the live streaming aspect is a way to build community and to build one-to-one connection. That only happens when you have people coming in, right? And to do that, you have to resonate with people, which comes from virality, right? So it's a process, right? You want to get to live streaming because it's so useful. But to get there, you have to use traditional means of gathering attention. And that's not easy. It's not easy. That is a difficult task, mind you. So to achieve that, the steps that I have taken so far are I've been testing different variations of making shorts. And the most views I achieved, which I'm quite proud of, it's not a lot, but 1.6K so far in a few days, which is nice. It's good to see something, going past just like 10, 50 views, even 100 views, right? Going 1.6 is something that's important. It's like, yes, go in that direction. But I didn't want it to be just the traditional way of gathering attention, because the one I got 1.6K views on was something that I kind of like, okay, let me try to copy this style short. That did well, relatively. And then I tried different styles. And I think the issue there has been formatting. The issue is this is what I've learned, depending on what problem you're solving, the kind of thing that you have to do to gain attention for it also has to be very specific. Like, if you're a very serious kind of guy, you cannot be doing dances to gain attention, right? Let's say you're solving a very serious software problem. You cannot be doing dances to gain that kind of attention. You understand? If you're, like, once again, I'll use software as an example. If you're doing software products, it makes no sense to make viral gym shorts or things like that. And so it's important to realize that whatever market you're in, you also have to find a symbiosis of market in the online world. There's a sort of alignment that I'm realizing. And if you try to make it fit into other content, content that doesn't have that symbiosis, that doesn't mesh well, you end up being too salesy, right? And I noticed that, where I tried a format where I saw where people just take a picture, not a picture, just like a slow-mo video of something in the back and just put a text. And, I could attribute that to, poor writing in that case, or not enough creative writing, or being too direct. And this is a hypothesis, and it could just be a case of me being too direct. And that's an issue with a lot of, when you're doing sales, when you're trying to sell a solution to a problem, that oftentimes when you're trying to talk to people who you know you can help, if you come across too salesy, like you're trying to get their money instead of trying to solve their problem, it can be a hindrance, because even if your solution, your product will actually help them, they're less likely to engage with you just because you come on too strong. And so there's two factors to this. It's format and direct, like level of directness. I don't know the word for it. And so I'm going to be continuing experimenting with the shorts with those things in mind. And we're going to be, today I filmed 5 shorts, and I'm like, if I want to create a model for creating content to achieve virality, just like the streaming, let's try it from the lowest common denominator. Let's just talk into the camera and try to have some sort of writing speak for itself. And I noticed where I focused more time on writing 1 short, and then today I did 5. I had a lot more engagement. So that was important to me. And I realized that the more time I spend writing on just 1, my value, the value I get out of it is far more, right? Instead of 10 views, I get 500 views. So there's something there in the writing that's incredibly potent. And if you can capture the right kind of writing, you can capture a lot of attention. So that's what I've learned. I've been doing tests on the shorts, and so being direct really depends on your product and your market. So you have to decide, and a lot of the times with info products, because of the way the internet is, there's a lot of scams out there. So if you don't lead in a certain way and convince people before you try to sell them, you'll immediately look like a scam. And obviously that's not good. You don't want to look like a scam, and that's a good thing, because people have to be able to weed out the scam from the not scams. And so if you're not able to present the problem with enough agitation, then they're not going to see the value in it. So you can't just lead, kind of the wrong end in first. You have to be able to agitate the problem enough so that they actually listen. And that's the persuasion of trying to get someone in on whatever you've got going on, right? And then there's the virality format. Not everything's going to fit with your format, so there's a lot of testing to be done, but that testing has to be done in a specific way as to not, again, come off too direct, but also be very, like blend well with whatever industry you're in, right? We've got one viewer. Who is it? Say hi. We're talking about ads. And obviously our main goal is to not spend ad money, right? Because buying ads is cheating, and it goes against our thesis, because we believe that ads will become saturated with AI content. So we want to be able to create virality without paying for it, because because we're going to use AI. Of course I'm going to use AI. You want to use AI. It's better, faster, cheaper, right? You want to use AI, but you don't want to pay for that because everybody's using AI, and so ads are just going to become more and more expensive, because everybody's just going to, really streamline their conversion rates. We don't want that. We don't like that. Okay? So we don't like ads. We don't like, but we don't like paying for it. So what I'm gonna do is, even though I tried experimenting with doing a bulk posting in one day, I realized the quality drops, and that's because a lot of the viral. Oh, did my phone turn off? A lot of the viral potency comes from. I'm just going to finish up because I think my phone's about to die. But a lot of the viral potency comes from, writing. Get better at writing, right? You have to get better at writing. And you have to get better at writing by focusing on who you are talking to, right? Coming at you live from the underground resistance. Listen to me, heed this warning. I'm going to turn the brightness on. Right? When my writing suffered, so did my views. And so I just have to do, instead of 5 a day, I just have to do 1. And I want to keep the editing minimal because I want there to be an ease of access. And what else? Ease of access. And I want more value to come out of a single piece of writing than to try and create many different variations of tests that give poor results all over. If I can focus on the writing and get more out of it, I'll probably have a better time. So yeah, now it is time for valuable research, nailing down the target audience. Who are we speaking to? Who are we speaking to? And then once that's done, the writing will just improve because we'll know what these people think, we'll know what problems they have. If we know Jerry, let's say you know Jerry, you've known him for the past 10 years, you know where he loves to eat, you know what his favorite show is. If you were to recommend a show to Jerry, you'd probably know if he's going to like it or not to a certain extent, right? And that's the little zhuzh, that's the little sauce that you have to have present in your writing. But then there's also the aspect of how do you get to that person. That, since we are at about half an hour, we're going to leave it there. How do you get to that person who you want to talk to? I think tomorrow we're going to try a workshop, and maybe I'll go into this a little bit more because it is something I'm going to be working on behind the screens, behind the scene. Cool. Whoever the one concurrent viewer is, hello. Thanks for coming on. If it's someone I know, hello. How are you? How's life? It's very hot here. Okay. It's been fun. It's been fun. But we do have to go now. So, it's, hello. Cool. All right. Good talking. And it's nighttime, so good night. So be good. Do good things. Thanks, Asham. And I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, and subscribe so good things happen.